I was so shocked to see that number on the scale. I was committed. I was going to make a difference in my health this year, right now. That's when I was going to do it. Okay, hi, my name is Kelsey Gulstrom and I'm with All Things Keto with Kelsey. And this is part 2 of my introduction to keto. I would like to say trigger warning, just so you know, I will be talking about cancer, people that I have lost in my family to cancer, and then also I will be briefly discussing miscarriage that I dealt with in this next segment. Sometimes things happen that are not in our control. Actually, a lot of times things happen that aren't in our control. So at the end of August, I lost a dear uncle to pancreatic cancer, which is the same cancer that my mom died of in 2006. It was almost like losing my dad. He was like a second father to me. Our whole family was really close with him because we had a family farm that he worked on with us. So unfortunately, I kind of turned to food as my comfort, which is pretty typical, I would say, for me over the course of my life. Food was a huge comfort item for me. I started eating things that I remembered made me feel good, and then all of a sudden, like, I spiraled out of control, and every time I tried to get back on, I just couldn't get back on. So the weight started, like, creeping back up. So in December, I ended up getting pregnant with our third child, and I was super excited. We were all very excited to be expecting another baby. So around 10 weeks pregnant, I actually found out via ultrasound that my baby did not have a heartbeat. It had a miscarriage, which is where the baby stops developing, but you don't actually miscarry the baby until later. It was about 3 weeks later that I had found out. So the baby was measuring about 7 weeks along. I was supposed to be 10, and then around 11 weeks, I actually miscarried the baby. Any of you women out there who are familiar with pregnancy, you know that your first trimester is hard. It's hard to even keep any food down. So I wasn't pressuring myself to be low carb. I was trying to be just as healthy as possible, but I was eating the things that I could keep down. I was not feeling well, but then I lost the baby, and miscarriage is definitely a huge emotional roller coaster. It was very hard on me mentally and physically. Like, your body still kind of thinks it's pregnant, so you still feel gross, but you know that you're not growing a baby anymore. It actually took me a couple of months for my HCG levels to drop low enough for them to consider me, kind of through with the miscarriage. From December to, May, June, I was just really struggling with what I was eating and how I was feeling and just all of these things. I had gained about 20 to 30 more pounds, 30 pounds back from the 50 that I had lost. And so it was just really hard because I would try to get back on, but then I would feel kind of gross from eating something because I had the hormones. So then in August, we found out that we were pregnant with our next baby, which happens to be my 1.5-year-old. And we were over the moon excited, but I was also terrified because I had lost a baby before. I was now terrified that I was gonna lose another baby. But for me, the experience of a miscarriage made me even more nervous about my next pregnancy because I had no idea until the baby had not been alive for 3 weeks. I had a really hard time just kind of having peace about the pregnancy and not letting my mind go crazy about wondering if the baby was okay. But then I also ended up losing my brother to suicide in October of the same year. I was terrified that I was going to lose my baby because my stress level was just out of this world. That is something that I don't wish on anybody. But that being said, I had these things happen in my life. I had the death of a couple of family members, and then I had my brother passed away, and then I miscarried, and then I was pregnant for, what felt like forever. Mix of the hormones and everything just kind of made me feel gross, and pregnancy is hard, and so I just did my very best. And so then with this pregnancy, I gained 40 pounds, and by the time I got home from the hospital from birthing my third child in April of 2021, I weighed 240 pounds after I birthed the baby. To see that number on the scale was just shocking. April 2021 to December, I lost 12.5 pounds total. I was nibbling on the non-keto things. I was just not being careful, but also I was exhausted. I was recovering. So I would say if you're in this position, like, give yourself some grace. It's okay to give yourself grace, but when you can do better, So January 1st came around this year, 2022, and I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for New Year's resolutions. I am always sitting down and trying to decide what I'm going to do with the next year. I took pictures and I committed to starting back full keto, and I did total carbs, 20 total carbs every day. I pushed my protein and I pushed my fat, and I started exercising. I started walking on my treadmill. I was committed. I was going to make a difference in my health this year, right now. That's when I was going to do it. For 6 weeks, the scale didn't move, and that was very discouraging. But on week 7 of the year 2022, I weighed in and found that I was 9 pounds down. So it was like my body just whooshed, like all of a sudden it was like, you must be serious. Let's start this process. So I lost 9 pounds on week 7. I lost 7 more pounds on week 8. And I have just steadily increased the amount of total weight loss throughout the year. So I am currently down almost 40 pounds total from the year 2022. My main goal at the beginning of the year was to lose 60 pounds. So I'm close, but the slower and steadier you lose the weight, the more likely you are to keep it off. So I'm fine with the slow going. I do feel like I'm hitting little plateaus here and there. So it gets a little bit frustrating, but honestly, like, I have felt so much better this year, just by losing the weight and staying away from the carbohydrates and the sugars. I just feel so much better. And I feel best when I'm not eating a lot of grains or added sugar, or even natural sugar. Like carbs in general, I just feel better without them. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to share a video on my journey of exactly what I did in the year 2022 and what my final results are going to be. So I'm looking forward to filming that at the end of the year. I hope you enjoyed this in-depth, this dive into my journey and how I've gotten to where I am today. It has been really eye-opening to kind of figure out what foods make me feel good, what foods make me feel pretty bad. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope wherever you are, you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you soon, friends.